The first contact had been tense but not hostile. The humans arrived in vessels that shimmered against the black of space, sleek and silent, unlike any ships the observers of the Galactic Council had ever seen. Every species that encountered them had their own theories. Some predicted an invasion, others expected primitive explorers. No one had guessed the truth. Commander Rill of the Zora fleet stared at the display before him. The humans' movements were precise, almost ritualistic, yet entirely unpredictable. Their ships danced through asteroid fields without hesitation, weaving through gravitational pulls that would have torn apart even the sturdiest of vessels from the Council fleets. "We should issue a warning," said Lieutenant Kiv, his claws drumming nervously on the console. "They do not respond to our hails." Rill shook his head. "Warnings will not matter. Observe first. Learn." The humans descended onto the neutral station orbiting Kelter V, the designated meeting point for first contact protocols. Every species present held its breath, waiting for aggression or surrender, yet none came. The humans simply walked through the docking bay as if it were their home. No guards, no weapons drawn, just confidence. Dr. Loma, the Council's leading xenobiologist, whispered their bodies, their physiology. They are fragile compared to us. Yet their presence carries weight, authority. It is almost commanding. It was an odd sensation. None had ever felt such a presence from a species so physically weak. The humans looked at the Council representatives, smiled in a way that seemed entirely human, and spoke words that would have been unremarkable had they not been delivered with such unwavering certainty. "Peace," said one of them. The sound was soft, almost musical. "We are here to learn, to share, to grow together." Simple words. But every listener felt a shift. It was not a demand. It was not a threat. Yet it rippled through the assembly like a shockwave, unsettling those who prided themselves on dominance. Days passed, and the humans did not leave. Instead, they explored the station, interacted with equipment, and conversed with each species, asking questions that revealed profound insight. They did not mock, they did not insult, they did not attempt to manipulate. They only listened, and when they spoke, their logic was impeccable yet intuitive. Cutting through centuries of bureaucracy and protocol with ease, Captain Vorn of the Terran fleet observed them closely. "How is it that they understand the energy matrix of our engines after a single glance?" he asked. "They have never been taught." Dr. Loma's eyes widened. "Their minds. It is as if they can synthesize information faster than we can process it. Faster than any known intelligence in the Council." Rumors began to spread among the fleets. Some species whispered of psychic abilities, others claimed the humans had divine favor. No one could explain it, but everyone agreed on one undeniable fact. Humans were exceptional. The turning point came during a demonstration of the station's defense grid. The Council decided to show the humans how the system worked, assuming they would fail to comprehend it. It was a simple test, meant to gauge their understanding. The humans not only understood it, they improved it. With minor adjustments, the grid's efficiency doubled, vulnerabilities erased. And a flaw that had eluded the Council engineers for decades was corrected in minutes. The room fell silent. Not one species present could match that speed of comprehension. Arguments erupted, some claiming sabotage, others accusing trickery, yet the humans remained calm, explaining their reasoning with clarity, patience, and humility. Rill, who had been wary of all of them, finally admitted aloud, "We are no longer in control here." That night, the Council convened an emergency session. Every representative voiced the same concern. The humans had no weapons, no overwhelming fleet, yet they had achieved more in a week than the Council had in centuries. The thought that terrified them most was not defeat, but irrelevance. And then the humans spoke again. "We do not seek dominion," said the same human who had greeted them. "We do not demand submission. We only ask that you recognize our presence and allow us to cooperate. Together, we can do more than alone. That is all." Simplicity of it was maddening. Cooperation, not conquest. Yet it carried a weight impossible to ignore. For the first time, every species in the room felt Small, days turned into weeks, and the humans began forming alliances, sharing knowledge and proposing strategies to avert disasters that had plagued the Council for generations. Every suggestion they made worked. Every theory they posited proved accurate. Wars that had seemed inevitable were prevented. Star systems previously deemed unstable were stabilized. The humans did not command, yet the Council's attention shifted. Their influence grew, quietly but inexorably. Commander Rill found himself walking the corridors of the station late one night, thinking about the humans. They slept little, yet showed no signs of fatigue. They joked with engineers and scientists, they ate strange foods, and they laughed at things that had no meaning to anyone else. And yet, in every interaction, they inspired confidence, ingenuity, and courage. He wondered what made them so resilient, so unyielding, so human. Then it happened. A fleet from the Varan Dominion, long hostile to the Council, approached. The Council expected an attack, prepared defenses, and braced for battle. The humans, however, did not rush to weapons. They walked onto the command deck, examined the sensors, and then did something unexpected. They addressed the Varan commander directly, proposing a solution to the border dispute that had fueled centuries of conflict. The humans outlined trade agreements, resource sharing, and scientific partnerships with clarity and fairness. The Vorans listened. The humans' arguments were unassailable. By the time the Council officers realized it, the Vorans had agreed to a truce. No lasers fired. No shields flared. No warships were lost. Humanity had won through reason, not violence. Afterward, the Council called an emergency vote. Every species deliberated, debated, and ultimately decided that resistance was pointless. The humans had not demanded control, yet their capability, wisdom, and resolve made them undeniable leaders. Capitulation was not a humiliation, it was the only logical choice. When Commander Rill delivered the message to the human delegation, he spoke slowly, carefully, aware that his words carried history. The Council acknowledges your supremacy in cooperation, strategy, and intellect. We surrender authority in matters you advise upon. The humans smiled. There was no triumph, no arrogance, only a quiet acknowledgement. We accept the responsibility, they said. Not as rulers, but as partners. Over the following months, the humans' influence reshaped the galaxy. Planets previously ravaged by mismanagement flourished. Trade routes once closed by rivalry were opened. Technology spread, ethics were enforced, and education became a shared pursuit among all species. Wars became rare, not through fear, but through understanding. Some species still doubted, claiming the humans' control was fragile, temporary, or naive. But time proved them wrong. The humans adapted to every challenge, integrated themselves into every system, and inspired every species to exceed its own limitations. Rill often reflected on that day of capitulation. He remembered the fear, the awe, and the strange admiration he felt toward beings so seemingly ordinary yet so extraordinary. In his private quarters, he sometimes wondered if humans were simply lucky, or if there was something deeper in essence that no calculation could quantify, a spark that no logic could replicate. Dr. Loma, writing her reports, concluded simply, humanity is remarkable. They succeed not because they dominate, but because they embody potential in its purest form. They are fragile, yet unbreakable. They are small, yet immense. And they remind us that the universe is vast, but intelligence, courage, and cooperation can make even the smallest species a force beyond reckoning. The day the Council capitulated to the humans was not marked by fireworks, victory parades, or celebrations. It was quiet, profound, and inevitable. It was a day when the galaxy realized that strength was not in size, numbers, or weapons, but in ingenuity, resilience, and the unwavering drive to improve. And so, the humans did not conquer, they simply existed, and the universe bent toward their presence. Every star system, every fleet, every council chamber learned the same lesson: underestimate humans at your peril. for they carry the future in their hands. They do not falter. Rill watched them one last time as they walked through the corridors of the station. Laughing with a young engineer over a minor error in the energy matrix, the human glanced at him, smiled, and offered a simple nod of acknowledgement. In that moment, Rill understood fully. Capitulation was not defeat. It was recognition of the inevitable. The galaxy had met humanity, and nothing would ever be the same.